Hey girl, welcome back to the Good for the Soul podcast. My name is britneydelsol, if you're new here, but if you're not new here, hey bestie, welcome back. I'm late, okay? I know that I'm late because first I said I was going to upload this podcast every Sunday. Now it's giving every other Sunday and I couldn't even do that. But okay, I have a good excuse. And I'm going to use this excuse until I can use this excuse no longer, because your girl is going through a divorce. Okay. I got my lawyer on speed dial. I feel like freaking Kim K or something. I'm maybe not Kim K. I feel like Kris Jenner. I feel like Mama Jenner, because I'm talking to the lawyer back and forth. We're like doing paperwork back and forth and filing things with the court. It's insane. Okay. I don't know why I thought like we're amicable right now. We're cool. Like we can just go through this and it be smooth. Sister, who the hell was that? Who the hell did I marry? Part 36. Who the fuck did I marry? Like, that's what it's giving. And when people say like marriage turns people, or marriage, girl, that too. I was going to say divorce turns people into people that you don't recognize because stuff starts getting a little messy. That could not be closer to the truth because it's getting a little crazy. But obviously, because of legal reasons, your girl can't talk about it. So hopefully this is all done soon because, as you know, I'm a yapper, okay? And I got things to yap about, especially about my in-laws because, girl, my in-laws, I knew that they didn't like me for no reason. Listen, I'm the first person to admit, like, when I did something wrong, and I usually like to know if people don't like me. Why? Because not to toot my own horn, but I am very likable. Okay. Like I feel like I get along with everybody. I don't like drama. I love to literally be friends with everybody. So the fact that they didn't like me and I could feel, and I just knew that they didn't like me, girl, all I did, because I'm a people pleaser, was ramp up the ass kissing. Like I really tried to like, let me take this. Let me see if they want, like I just was doing the most to try to get them to like me. So then now that all of this is going down, girl, I'm like at a loss for words. I reached out to my mother-in-law for something that she'll be not discussed, but I just reached out to her. I sent her a really nice message. When I tell you her response was like, girl, we never liked you. Like, not we never liked you. Like, let me not go that far because we're telling the truth without context. But she basically said like, you know what? We already knew that relationship wasn't going to work out. Like just nasty. Talking about like, basically just saying how she really feels about me, which I'm sorry it's so vague, but just because of everything going on, I don't want to say anything that I shouldn't be saying quite yet, but I promise you, once I get the green light, we're going to do a whole tell-all because I have a lot of grievances to discuss. Because one thing I hate is mean people, like especially when like I said, if people don't like me, my toxic trait to myself is that I will try to get them to like me. And getting into like adulthood, I'm trying to unlearn it because it is like a trauma response where if people don't like you, you take that personally as like something's wrong with me. Girl, nothing is wrong with me. Like I know for a fact I'm not a rude person, especially to like my elders or like the guy that I'm with's parents. Like I would never be rude to people like that, even if they're rude to me. I'm very much the kind of person that I'll swallow it and I'll take it and I'll go talk shit in private, but I'm not the type to be disrespectful like face to face to people that I guess like deserve respect, which that's a whole nother thing, girl, because nobody deserves your respect. Respect is earned, but I think it's a cultural thing with me that I just feel like there are certain people that deserve respect and you can't really do anything about it. Today, we're still talking about something juicy because you know I like to make it juicy on the pod. We're going to talk about dating post divorce or just like post relationship in general, but specifically those relationships where you live together or, you know, and your families are intertwined, or you've just been together for so long that you know, that's all that you're used to. I was with my soon to be ex-husband since 2018. So it's been about 6 years, which I would say maybe 4 of those years were pretty good. And I don't mean to hesitate because of anything like wrong with him. It's just that I feel like I always knew I wasn't 100% happy, which I know it's like, okay, well, if you weren't 100% happy, girl, why did you go get married? Girl, I'm asking myself the same thing. Like, I don't know. I feel like I've had a lot of trauma in my life, and not to blame everything on trauma because it's kind of like, hello, you got to get over it eventually. But I just say that to say, like, I'm trying to wrap my head around in therapy, like, why I made a lot of the decisions that I made. And I think it's because it was just like baseline low self-esteem. When you don't value yourself and you don't hold yourself to a high standard, you don't feel like you deserve things and you feel like you got to just take what you get and be happy with it. And I had that mindset for so long, and it's very tragic and it's very sad to look back on because I made a lot of my decisions based off of other people or based off of the feeling that it's never going to get better. Like, I got to just get what I can get. Kind of like an abandonment situation where you're like, well, I'd rather have this than have nothing. So I'm going to just take what I can get and be happy with it. But now, like, growing into my own and like getting into my late 20s, I really, really feel like I've found myself. And I don't think you can ever truly find yourself 100%, like maybe till like the afterlife. But I think that you can get to a point where you really know yourself, you're really comfortable, and you still have insecurities, but at the same time, you know who you are and you're not going to accept less because you know what you bring to the table. And that really is my situation right now. And it has been for the past few years where I know who I am now and I don't have to accept less than what I deserve. So I'm starting to undo a lot of the mistakes that I made when I was younger. And one of those is accepting something that I feel like isn't meeting a standard that I've set. And it's hard to talk about it because this does have to do with like a human being. And it makes me feel really bad thinking that someone else might feel like they're not enough based off of my expectations. But to flip it around, let's say I was the one that was dating somebody and I wasn't meeting their expectations. And instead of letting that make me feel like, oh, I'm not meeting their expectations, I'm not enough, you need to turn that around and say, okay, well, maybe we're not a match because your expectations don't align with who I am as a person. And that's okay. That just means that it's sad, but we're not each other's person. It doesn't devalue you as a person, or it doesn't mean that you're not enough because you're not meeting this one specific person's standards. It just means that you're not a match. Like, you deserve to go out, be who you are, and have that tick someone's boxes. Because if you try to conform yourself and change who you are based on every single person you start to date, you're never going to truly be yourself and you're never going to truly be happy, because once your true personality starts to show, or characteristics that you have, or like things that you're interested in, once you start to express those, because you can't kind of put up a facade forever. Once those things start to show and the relationship starts to dwindle or maybe get rocky, that is when I think the issues arise. So I really think that it's best to go out the gate being yourself, be who you are. And if it doesn't align with what that person wants, then unfortunately, you're going to have to move on to the next person. And a lot of that is sad because I remember in my early 20s, it was like a scarcity mentality where I felt like, okay, this guy likes me, let me do everything I can to make sure that it works, instead of vetting him out. Like, it's the same with a job interview. We go into job interviews thinking like, oh my God, am I dressed right? Do I look okay? What am I going to say? Let me research these questions. Like, I need to make sure that I'm the perfect candidate for them. But rarely do we think, are they the perfect candidate for me? Like, I'm the one looking for a job and I'm the one that has to make the commitment to be there Monday through Friday, like 40 plus hours a week. So let me go into it interviewing them, let me go in and get information from their company. And that also, I think, helps kind of like ease the nerves. And I like to take that same idea into dating. Me acting like I've been on a bunch of dates. I don't want to date right now, actually. Like, let me kind of set that preface. Your girl is not trying to date to like get in a relationship. Your girl's trying to go out and have fun and be in her 20s and kind of enjoy these last 2 years, because your girl's 28. I'm going to be 29 this year and then 30 next year. And there's nothing wrong with being 30. I'm kind of like half kidding. But honestly, I think that for a long time, like getting married very young, I feel like I just accelerated my age. Like, I've felt in my freaking late 40s for the past few years. And I felt like my time of like having fun and going out with my girls, like, I don't know why I felt like those times were over and that time was done. Now I feel very free. And not to say that I wasn't able to do that in a relationship, but there's just something like mental about it where you feel like, okay, well, I can't go on a girls trip to Vegas with my man sitting at home because number one, you absolutely can. But number two, when you're in a committed relationship, I don't know what it is. Like you just start to feel like, no, that's weird, or they might get mad, or, you know what I mean? Like it's not a set rule. You can obviously do whatever you want when you're in a relationship, but you can't deny the fact that it does come with certain restrictions, whether you want to or not. Like whether your relationship is like jealous in that way or not, it still comes with certain changes rather than if you were to just be single and you can go out and do whatever you want. So I think now being like officially single, I can do whatever I want. It's coming to the point where it's making me feel very young. I feel very like liberated. I feel very free. I feel like I can go out whenever I want. I don't have to check in with anybody. I can do whatever I want. I can talk to whoever I want, which that's another thing, honey. I don't know what it is in the air when you become single and get back out into those streets. Like, why does every man you've ever messed around with start to hit you up? Like, what is that? I don't know if there's like a freaking radar that they have that's like built into them, but they know. Because when I tell you I've been getting messages from people that I have not spoken to in years, and it's a little crazy. And this might be a controversial opinion, but I truly feel like rekindling, I don't even know if that's the right word, but like rekindling something that you had with a past person after you get out of your current relationship, to me, that helps me kind of get over my current relationship and remember like there's other fish in the sea. Because not that I'm trying to get in a relationship with this guy, but I'm not gonna lie, like just having those conversations and reminiscing on old times, like it does really help you move on. It helps you kind of like remember who the fuck you are, if that makes sense. Because I remember being young and I had so much fun, you guys. Like in my early 20s, like honestly from like 19 to 23, it was probably the best time of my life. Like, you know how people go online and they're like, oh, nothing compares to summer 2016. Like exactly that. Like summer 2016 for me was so much fun. I was going out. I was messing around with this guy. He was a little bit of a bad boy. Okay. He rode motorcycles. He had tattoos. He played the guitar. Like he was just very much giving sexy bad boy vibes. Right. And I was obsessed with him. And at the time, I really wanted to be in a relationship with him because, again, it was like, I'm into you, you're into me, like, let's be in a relationship. That was all I wanted for some reason in my early 20s, instead of just thinking like, girl, we're out here having fun. Like, we're living, we're having fun, we're going out, and it is what it is, and that's it. I, for some reason, really wanted to be tied down. Like, I was like, I'm wifey, so someone needs to make me wifey. Like, what is going on? But reminiscing on those days, it's crazy because time freaking flies. That was 8 years ago. Literally 8 years ago, like literally almost a decade ago. And it like pains me to say that because it makes me feel so freaking old. But those days were so fun. Like you go out and you get drunk and living for the nights that you can't remember with the people that you won't forget. Like that's what it was giving. And it was so much fun. And I really feel like talking to him again kind of makes me feel, I don't know, like it reminds me who I am, and it reminds me like, okay, I'm not obligated to stay in this relationship or stay this quote unquote boring person that just, you know, stays home and watches TV and does laundry and cleans up around the house and doesn't really have a social life. Like, I feel 20 again, if that makes sense. And not in a midlife crisis kind of way. I mean, maybe kind of in a midlife crisis kind of way. But I say all that to say, like, if you're in a committed relationship and you start to feel like, oh, I'm boring now, like I can't hang like I used to, like, girl, give it a try. Hit up your girlfriends, go out every once in a while. Like, it doesn't have to be a every weekend kind of thing, but just don't forget to really live your 20s, because the things that I'm doing now, besides like the going out and flirting, getting numbers and stuff, you can still do that when you're in a relationship. You can go out and have fun and have it be wholesome. Just go with your girls and not have anything inappropriate happen because you're in a relationship, but you still get to go out and have fun. I think that is something that I was missing from my relationship, and it's something that I'm really happy I'm doing now. But moving on to actually like dating post relationship, like I said, I'm not looking to do that at all, sister. Like, negative. No, I don't want to be tied down for a while. Like, I'm probably going to be one of those people that have kids when they're like 40, because the way it's looking right now, I really like going out and having fun, and I like not having anyone to answer to. And I like the fact that the guy that I'm talking to, it's not serious. It's just fun. I like that. I don't want a relationship the way that I so desperately wanted one in my early 20s. And I think that that's definitely a shift, but it's very much a healthy shift because I feel very secure in who I am. I know exactly what I want and what I don't want. And if for some reason my dream man treats me the way I want to be treated, girl, I was going to say looks the way I want him to look, like not those being my only two like standards. You need to look sexy and you need to treat me sexy. Like, that's literally it. Like, besides the normal, like, have drive, have ambition, have a good job, like, make your own money, be an adult, like, live on your own. Those are all things that I want in a partner. But aside from those things, it's kind of like, I just want someone that we vibe together. Like, I love having a good vibe, a good banter, like we can joke around. I'm a very jokey person and I like to mess around with people. So if we can't have like a little like playful argument here and there, I don't want it. Like, I'm a Scorpio. I need to have a little bit of spice. You need to be able to keep up with me and my sassiness and my sassy attitude. And so if that person magically comes around and sweeps me off my feet, then maybe I'll change my mind. But as far as actively looking for somebody, negative. We're not in the market for that. We're in the market for fun. But if I were dating, some of the things that I would consider, especially if you're a girly who's been out single for a while, you're kind of like, yeah, you know, I go out with my girls all the time, but I'm kind of over it. Like, I want to settle down. I think you need to prioritize having someone that ticks your boxes, because like I said, it's easy to meet someone and just want to form yourself to tick all of their boxes. Girl, you need to see if they tick yours. You need to basically interview somebody. Like, the first date is like, let's see if we vibe. Let's see if we get along. Don't put any pressure on it. Think of it as like, yeah, it's a first date, but it needs to be more of like a first meeting. Like, we're just trying to be friends. Like, we're just trying to vibe. There's no expectations there. That, I think, makes it easier because there's less pressure. This is such a side note too, but I'm really craving Doritos. Like, I don't know what it is. Maybe because I know I can't have them, because your girl's trying to eat healthy. Okay, we're trying to eat healthy, get this body right and tight, especially if I haven't seen this man in 8 years, girl. 8 years? I'm going to need to make sure I'm getting it right and tight. So your girl's been going to the gym, and it's not just for that. I'm kind of just joking, but your girl's been in the gym. Your girl's been eating healthy. Your girl's been trying to lose some weight. And those are just the vibes. Like, I am healthy girl summer. Healthy girl summer. And that too, bestie, I feel like that's definitely a side note, but it does relate to the topic, because if you're going to get into dating, taking care of yourself makes you so confident. And I know you're tired, and I know you don't want to go to the gym, and I know you just want to get that fucking 10-piece from Wingstop, honey. I know. But if you really commit to something, especially if it's eating healthy and working out, you gain so much confidence. Like, I've been feeling skinty, honey. Like, I have been feeling like, girl, I'm going to disappear. All my girls on Instagram know. Your girl is disappearing. I'm vanishing right before everybody's eyes. And part of that is a joke, but part of that is I'm being dead ass. Like, I'm working out, I'm eating really healthy, and it's making me feel very confident, even if I don't lose an ounce of weight, if I don't lose an inch, something about it psychologically will really make you feel like you're on it. So if you're feeling insecure and you're feeling like a freaking potato, girl, hit the gym. At least go try it out. Take it one day at a time. Go for 10-15 minutes. Like, you don't have to go and force yourself to stay there for an hour. If you want to show up, walk on the treadmill for a little bit and then head out, do it. But at least you're getting into the habit of actually going, and then slowly you'll kind of build it up. Because I remember when I first started going, I was like, well, I'm just going to go and walk on the treadmill for a little bit. But I've discovered my favorite part of working out is weights. Like, I love weights. And I used to be scared because I was like, oh, well, I don't want to bulk up. Like, your girl's already chunky dunky. Like, I'm trying to slim down. But I've talked to multiple trainers. The best thing that you can do to slim down is to build muscle mass and to weight train. If you do weight training and cardio and eating in a calorie deficit and getting enough protein, you're going to slim and tone at the same time. So that's exactly what I'm doing. And it's been good. It's been making me feel super confident, super sexy, super demure. If you guys have seen that TikTok, very mindful, very demure. So those are the vibes that I've had recently. But dating is not really what you look like. And I get that question kind of a lot, which is, how do you date, like, as someone who's plus size, who's thicker than a snicker? Like, how do you go out and date and feel confident? Girl, you just have to feel confident, because one thing about me, I'm going to be confident. Like, the face card never declines. The hair, done. The nails, done. The cooter, done. Like, all of it. The boobs might not be perfect, perky, like exactly how I want them to be. They might not be. The ass might not be smooth, plump, juicy. She's plump and juicy, but like, it's not perfect. The stomach definitely is not perfect. Like, I feel like that's my one biggest insecurity, is the stomach. But you're not defined by those insecurities that you have. Like, you as a whole have to view yourself that way. Like, you have to view yourself as the package deal. Like, you don't get the 10-piece combo from Wingstop and judge some of the soggy fries. You judge everything all together. If the wings are nice and juicy, but one of them might be a little bit off, you're not gonna not eat the whole thing, girl. You might not eat that wing, but you might still eat the rest of the combo. Like, this is such a big back fucking comparison, but you get what I'm saying. A man is not gonna look at you and say, oh, well, that part of you isn't perfect, so you know what, girl, nah, I'm cool, I'm a pass. And if he does, girl, bye, let that man go. Like, that's clearly not the man for you. Because if we look at a man's body, like, hold up, let's uno reverse. If we look at a man's body, do you know how many things we can point out that are absolutely disgusting? It could be the sexiest man, maybe not the sexiest man alive, but the average Joe schmoes that we're over here messing with and crying over and ruining our lives for. If we look at them, you can look at their body and point out at least 10 things that give you the ick. So he's not, first of all, he doesn't have any place to come to you freshly showered, smelling absolutely divine. Hair is done because you paid 4 or 5 figures for your hair. Maybe not 5 figures, girl. 3-4 figures for your hair. You paid 2-3 figures to get your nails done and your pedi. Like, you put in the time and the effort to get ready. And if you don't, that, like, at least just speaking from my own personal experience, if you're not investing into self-care, into getting your nails done, getting your hair done, get your lashes, get your facial, like, those things to me are truly an investment. Like, you're investing back into yourself, because those things are what make me feel confident. I know I'm on it. I got my IPL machine. I'm doing my laser hair removal. Like, I'm doing serums. I'm doing cleansers. I'm doing, like I said, like, facials, lashes, hair, nails, like the whole 9. So I'm not going to have a come in who barely knows how to wash his asshole come in and try to tell me that I'm not enough for him. If you think that you can get to step in, like, because I promise you there are suitors lined up around the corner. So if you're feeling insecure and you're feeling like, well, what if he doesn't like me? Like, what if Girl, what if you don't like him? Like, you need to change your mindset, and it's not something that's going to happen overnight. It's something that you literally have to actively work on. Like, when you catch yourself thinking that, rationalize it. Girl, really sit there and think about it. Okay, well, I don't like this about him either. So, if it's a judging contest, how about we both stand up there on the podium and let the public decide? Because that is just, it is what it is. And if you are dating someone that you think is like out of your league, or that there's too sexy for you, like, I promise you, there are definitely things that you bring to the table that you just need to give yourself more credit for. And I think that confidence does not happen overnight. It's something that you have to actively try to change the way that you think and the way your brain processes things, because for days, weeks, months, years even, you're telling yourself that you're not enough, that you look fat, that you look ugly, that, you know, you hate your hair, you hate your body, like, you hate all these things about yourself. You trying to convince yourself for a day, it's not going to work, obviously, but it has to be over time, and you have to start to overpower and just switch the way that your brain thinks. Because I honestly like to think of your brain as like a robot, like it's giving chat GPT. Like, if you only tell it these certain things, it's obviously going to spit back negative things back to you. But if you tell it positive things, it will start to spit positive things back at you. Because sometimes I'm like, girl, I am too confident for my own good. Of course, I have down days, and there are things that I'm super insecure about. But for the most part, I've learned who I am. And that has come within the past few years, honestly, of really valuing myself, recognizing what I bring to the table, putting in effort into taking care of myself, into working on my career, into working on saving money. Like, all aspects of that to me are self-care. So for that, I think it's all a mental game, and it's an investment both for your time. You have to invest time into making sure that you're giving yourself your flowers and recognizing the positive things about yourself, rather than just always shitting on yourself and talking about the negative things. And it's an investment money-wise, because a lot of the things that make me feel confident, like wearing a matching set, girl, them things are not cheap. Like, it's so easy for me to just walk around in a big t-shirt and my chonchons, but I'm gonna feel like a potato. So I invest in cute loungewear, which costs money, because it's not a necessity. Like, I could just wear my crusty t-shirt with my freaking makeup stains on it. I could wear that. But wearing a skim set is so much cuter, and it makes me feel like I have my life together, and it is an investment. Like, a lot of these people online, especially like influencers or whatever, like, a lot of people put out this narrative of like, yeah, this is just how I am. I only wear neutrals, and my matching sets are just, that's all I wear. Like, for me, it's been a slow replacement of things. Like, I've had a lot of crusty t-shirts that I've had for a while. When I buy a cute set, I'll replace it with that. So I'll switch out the crusty t-shirt and donate that, or if it's too far gone, girl, we'll just throw it away, and I'll replace it with a cute set. Like, you do that over time. You don't necessarily go out and spend $3,000 on a new wardrobe tomorrow and just magically have it appear in your closet. Like, you actually have to have a realistic outlook on it and slowly invest in buying yourself things. And even if like clothes really isn't your thing, I'm sure there are things out there that cost money that could make you feel very invested, that could make you feel very confident. Because I love that saying when people say online, like, you're not ugly, you're just poor. Facts, like facts. Because years ago, when I was just broke in college, didn't have any money, there were a lot of things that I was insecure about. I didn't have money to buy the clothes that I actually wanted to wear, or the makeup that I actually wanted, or I didn't have money to get my hair done. So I just box dyed it black, like every chance that I could. I didn't have time to get new extensions. So then I was insecure about that. Like, it's all very superficial, honestly. Like, but as a female, especially one that's very feminine and very like into taking care of yourself, it can be like a hit to your ego when you don't have the means to buy things like that for yourself or invest that money back. But there are things that you can do for yourself. Like, girl, my nails, I just did them myself. Like, these are my real nails. I'm just letting them grow. And I did a hard gel at home, which it literally cost me like $100 to get a hard gel manicure, French tip, in Los Angeles. Like, $100 for hard gel, when the hard gel that I bought, the same exact brand, was like $18 for the whole container. Girl, even if you have the means, sometimes you don't need to be spending money like that. Like, I invested in getting this stuff. It cost me $30 and I gave myself a $100 manicure at home with stuff that I bought on Amazon for $30. So there are things that you can go out and do, but if you don't have the means or you just want to be smarter and save money, you can do those yourself. Lashes, I have a friend, she does her own lashes. Like, you can do that yourself too. Hair is a little tricky. Okay, hair is something that I really do think you should invest in because, girl, in 2020, I really wanted to give myself highlights. Like, I wanted to go blonde, and it was COVID. I was bored in the house. I was in the house bored, and I really wanted to lighten my hair, but everything was closed. Oh my God. I'm like so cringe thinking about it, but I went to Sally's, I got bleach, burned my hair off. Sister, when I tell you my hair was like gummy, like just tore, it was insane. And my hair was naturally like almost as long as I have it right now because I'm wearing extensions. And girl, I fried it all off. Like, when I tell you it was giving fuck ass bob when I was done because I had to cut it so short, it was actually one of the most traumatizing things that's ever happened to me because although it is like, it's superficial, who cares about your hair? Like, it's just, girl, when you're feminine and you really care about your hair, and I feel like, especially being plus size, like, I need to have long hair. I don't know what it is, like, if it's just me. If I have short hair, I feel like 3,600 pounds heavier. Like, I don't know what it is because there are some girls that are plus size that have short hair and they look absolutely stunning, amazing, beautiful. So I'm not the type to project that insecurity on anyone else. It's literally just me, like my specific face. Like, I just feel like I don't do well with short hair. So I was going through it. It was a crisis, but I made the most of it. I figured out how to style it and I kind of just dealt with it. And so if you're in a situation where you're kind of just like, girl, I have limited resources and I got to just do what I can do, figure it out. Save money where you can, reinvest it where you can, and pick up a side hustle. Like, I know it's easier said than done, but you yourself are an investment, especially my moms out there. A lot of you moms be buying your kids their 36th fucking Elmo and you haven't gotten your hair done in weeks because you are, oh, I don't have money. You have the money. You need to just reinvest it into yourself. Your kids are fine. They'll do good with the 35 other Elmos that they already have and the 36 other pairs of Frozen t-shirts that they've had. You know what I mean? Like, they are fine, especially because kids don't care about things like that. You as a mom need to remember that you're a person and you have to invest. Get your nails done, get your hair done, get your lashes, get your facial. Girl, like, don't piss me off right now. Like, I am so passionate about women taking care of themselves because a lot of times society likes to make us think like that's so superficial or like that's such a waste of money. Like, you could be using that money for this. No, if it's going to help me like mentally and I'm going to feel better about myself, I'm going to invest and do it. And I say all of that to say investing in yourself and feeling good about yourself really does boost your confidence, which helps with dating. So post a very committed relationship, especially one where you live together, I do think it's important to take time for yourself and not focus on just getting back into another relationship. Like, you really need that time to find yourself because what happens is when you've been in a relationship for so long, you are codependent. And sometimes it's not even necessarily codependent on that person. It's codependent on another like romantic interest. So if you are leaving this long-term relationship and you're crying and you're sad and the only thing that makes you feel better is talking to this other guy, girl, you're not healing. Like, you're not taking the time to be okay being alone because that's the part that's hard. You need to be okay being by yourself. Go out to eat by yourself. Go do activities on your own that normally require another person. Girl, go to the movies by yourself. Like, there are a lot of things that you can do that are societally supposed to be done with another person, whether that's romantic or not. But you don't have to do that. Like, going out and doing it by yourself is so empowering and it kind of makes you realize like this is not a big deal. Like, I can go to a restaurant, sit at the bar and be by myself, have my food, like talk to the bartender, like just have a good time being alone. You don't always need someone there. And doing those little things and getting out and remembering that you are your own person and that a lot of people go out and do things on their own, that really helps you remember that you don't need to depend on anybody, because being with someone 24/7, like especially if you live with them, and even if you don't live with them, like people in relationships, we're constantly in communication, right? Like, especially if you don't live together. Oh, how was your day? Call me when you get home. Like, you call them on your way home. You call them when you get home. You call them after you shower. Like, there's just such a constant interaction going on. Of course, when that stops, it's going to feel like bad, or it's going to feel unnatural. It's going to feel like something's missing. Like, you have to remember, our brains are very based on routine. And if you fuck up the routine, obviously there's going to be a period of time where you need to give yourself time to adjust. And I think a lot of people mess up because they think like, oh my God, like I'm missing them. No, you're missing routine. So you need to create a new routine. Go out and do things by yourself. Instead of calling them, call somebody else. If you don't want to talk to anybody because you only want to talk to them, fill that space with doing something else. Like, if you normally call them on your way home, find a new podcast that you're obsessed with and listen to that on your way home. Like, create a new routine and do that every single day. And I promise you, it's a lot easier than it sounds. A lot of it is just your brain dealing with missing something. Like, it's literally like an addiction. You're addicted to talking to them, and you're addicted to having this certain routine. Replace it with something else. And I know you don't want to hear it, girl, but go to the gym. Like, go to the gym, talk to your friends. Like, if you haven't talked to your friends in a while, reach out to them, make new friends. Like, go to a workout class and make friends there. Like, it sounds a lot easier said than done, but once you start doing it, I promise you, it will feel so much easier. It'll feel like, why the fuck haven't I been doing this the whole time? Because there are things that I've done since being like single that I'm so invested in and I'm so obsessed with. And I'm like, well, why haven't I been doing this the whole time? Like, why did it take me having to go through this breakup to have to realize I'm my own person, and I can go to this pottery class, and I can go to this yoga class, and I can go hang out with these people, and I can go do things on my own. Like, there's a lot of times in a relationship where sometimes, like, especially if you live together and you're married, it gets boring. Anyways, girl, the sun is setting, the camera batteries are dying. Like, this is my sign to get the hell out of here. So thank you guys so much for listening. I kind of veered off topic, but you know what? It is what it is. Like, we're giving ADHD, we're giving just yapping it up, like stream of consciousness vibes, but that's why you guys are here, okay? We're just here to chit chat like girls do and just get our thoughts out there, because one thing about me, I need to speak it. I need to speak it out into existence. But anyways, you guys, I really appreciate you guys listening. Like, this podcast has been such a, I don't know, like such a weight lifting tool for me, if that even makes sense. Like, I just love being able to get things off my chest, because a lot of you guys can relate, and it's so important to not feel alone and not feel like you're the only one kind of going through the emotions that you're going through, and that it's normal. We're all going through it, honey. Thank you guys so much for watching. I love you so much, and I will see you in the next episode. And don't forget, very mindful, very demure. Love you guys. Bye.